This video is about the biofertilizers, and this topic comes under agriculture microbiology and agriculture biotechnology. Now, before telling you what are biofertilizer, I will like to tell you a little about the Green Revolution. This Green Revolution was started in 1960s and 70s worldwide, and Norman Borlaug was the one who pioneered it. He was the one who introduced high-yielding varieties because most of the time in developing countries, the traditional varieties were used, and they were also not using the modern techniques of agriculture. So he introduced modern techniques, chemical fertilizer and pesticides also. So all these developing countries, they became self-sufficient and they started growing the food in such amounts as they needed. And that's how he saved millions of people from starvation. And that is the reason that he was given the Nobel Peace Prize. Dr. M.S. Swaminathan is another very renowned scientist in India. He led the Green Revolution in India, and that's why he is known as father of Green Revolution in India. So this Green Revolution helped in increased food production and economic growth of not only India but of many developing countries. And this Green Revolution term is very important, and it is asked in many interviews and many competitive exams. Now, let's see a little about the chemical fertilizers. We already discussed that Green Revolution heavily relied on chemical fertilizers. And NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, these were mainly used. But then what happened? Because they were giving the good results, they were helping in the good yield. So farmers started using them extensively and in uncontrolled way. Generally, it is said for the chemical fertilizers that they should be used in controlled way. At what time they should be used, how much amount should be used in the field, that all should be controlled. But then, because they were giving the good results, so everyone started using it. So this led to the soil degradation. It was very harmful for the soil. Also, some of the chemicals seeped down into the soil, and that's how they reached to the groundwater and led to the groundwater contamination. Also, the environmental pollution and adverse effect on the human health. So all these things happen because of the extensive use of the chemical fertilizers. So people started thinking that there should be an alternative which should be used instead of chemical fertilizer, and that's how the biofertilizer came as a substitute or as an alternative. Now let's see what are the biofertilizers. Biofertilizers are actually living microorganisms. Bio means living. So these are the living microorganisms which are used as fertilizers for the agricultural practices, and that is why they are also known as microbial inoculants. So if we see the definition, these are the ready-to-use live formulations. You just make the live formulation of different microorganisms which are beneficial ones, and then you apply it maybe to the seeds directly or to the plant surface or soil. And what they do, they colonize the rhizosphere, or if they are free living, then they will live in rhizosphere, or if they are symbiotic in nature, then they'll go interior to the plant and they'll make a relationship with the plant, and then they will promote the growth by increasing the supply or availability of primary nutrients to the host plant. So that is what biofertilizers are. You can say that biofertilizers are nothing else but the microbes themselves, a combination of few microbes which are beneficial for the plant growth. Now let's see how many types of biofertilizers are available. Basically, two types of these biofertilizers are available. First is nitrogenous and second is phosphatic. Nitrogenous biofertilizers are the most important ones. Why? because nitrogen is the vital nutrient which is needed by all plants. So, and you all must be knowing that nitrogen is present in the air in large quantity, but that nitrogen cannot be taken up by the plants. So it has to be fixed first. So there are various microorganisms which are used for fixing the nitrogen, and they make this nitrogenous biofertilizer. So many type of biofertilizers, nitrogenous biofertilizers are available in the market. Then second one is phosphatic biofertilizer, because phosphorus is again very important for all the plants, and for that matter for every living being. It is very important because it is the part of many biomolecules as nitrogen. So these phosphatic biofertilizers are also available in the market, and they consist of such type of microorganisms which can solubilize the phosphorus. Here I would like to tell you that phosphorus is otherwise fixed in the soil. It is in the fixed form. It is not in the soluble form. So it has to be solubilized first. And there is one term which is becoming very popular these days, that is plant growth promoting rhizobacteria, commonly known as PGPR. These are the soil microorganisms which fix nitrogen, which can solubilize phosphorus, which also play many other roles like formation of good substances and hormones production and all that. So the group of these bacteria which live in rhizosphere are known as PGPR. Then potassium biofertilizers are also there. They are also available. Cyanobacterial biofertilizers are another one which are available. Compost biofertilizers can be used, and mycorrhizal biofertilizers can also be used. Now, here is a question: why to use biofertilizers? So the first thing is that we do not want to use the chemical fertilizers because they have many ill effects. So we want to lessen the use of chemical fertilizer, and if we are not using the chemical fertilizer, we must need a substitute, and biofertilizer is a substitute for that. Then these are harmless and without adverse effect, because these biofertilizers are made up of microorganisms which are otherwise also present in the soil, which are naturally there. So they don't have any harmful effect on the environment or on us. So that's why they are good, and that's why we should use them. They also enhance the nutrient availability in deficient soil, because we are growing the plants year after year in same soil, and there may be many other problems also. So because of that, many soils become deficient in the nutrients, and in these deficient soils, plant cannot grow well. So that's why if you want to enhance the nutrients there, then microorganisms, these biofertilizers are very important and very good one. They also secrete the plant growth promoting substances. They do this naturally. They have this ability of producing different growth hormones and growth promoting substances. So what they do, because they live in the soil, so they restore the natural soil fertility. So that's why they are very good. And they also stimulate the germination, root proliferation. So because of that, and also the overall plant growth, so they are good. They have good effect on the plant, and they provide the protection against soil-borne phytopathogens also, because plants also get diseases, and those disease-causing microorganisms are also present in the soil. So these microorganisms, many of these not all, but many of them have this capability of controlling the phytopathogens. So if they are controlling the phytopathogens, that means they are eliminating the phytopathogens which can cause the diseases. And they are cost effective than chemical fertilizer. You don't need big industries, as they are needed in making chemical fertilizers. So, at a small scale industries, these biofertilizers can be formed, they can be produced, so they are cost effective. Then also they make the system more sustainable and they are eco-friendly. So these are the things why we are using biofertilizers these days. Now let's see a little about the plant nutrients. There are 17 elements mainly, out of which CHO means carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. These are essential ones. Although they are needed by each and every organism, each and every plant, but there is not a problem about these three, because they can be absorbed from air and water is available to all of us. Then comes the second category, that is the macronutrients. They can be absorbed from the soil. And primary macronutrients are NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. All of them are very important. They play vital role. So all the plants, they need these primary macronutrients. And then comes the secondary ones, calcium, magnesium, sulfur. They are also important, but not as important as the NPK. So that's why mostly we are talking about the biofertilizer, which have nitrogen and phosphorus and potassium. And then there are many micronutrients also, which are needed by the plants. Now let's see what are the microorganisms. Let's see the name of those microorganisms which make these biofertilizers. First, we should see what are the nitrogen fixers. So these nitrogen fixing microorganisms can be of two types, symbiotic or non-symbiotic. If we see the symbiotic nitrogen fixing bacteria, the most important example is rhizobium. Bradyrhizobium is also there, but the most important one is the rhizobium, which forms the nodule in legumes. And then there are many free living bacteria also, which you call as non-symbiotic, and these can be cyanobacteria, and the examples are nostoc, Anabina, and then some other bacteria, Azospirillum, Azotobacter, Bischringia, Clostridium. Then comes phosphorus solubilizer. So phosphorus solubilizing bacteria and fungi, both are there in the soil. If we talk about fungi, these are Aspergillus, Penicillium, Trichoderma, Mucor, and many others. And similarly, if we talk about phosphate solubilizing bacteria, these are Bacillus, Micrococcus, Pseudomonas, Burkholderia, Rhizobium. Yeah, Rhizobium is the one which mainly is responsible for fixing the nitrogen, but some of the strains can also solubilize the phosphorus, and many others. Then actinomycetes can also play the same role. So these are the microorganisms which are used in making biofertilizer. Now the question is how to apply it in the field. So first thing what we can do is the seed treatment. So biofertilizer, it is suspended in water. You mix some gum arabic or some jaggery solution or something so that it can become sticky, and then you dip the seeds there, and that's how the seed treatment is given. Then also for rice, some other crops, the seedling root dip method can be used. In this, a bed is made which is filled with water and biofertilizer is mixed in it, and then the seedlings, here we don't take the seed, but we take the seedlings. So these are dipped because they already have small roots. So they are dipped there for 8 to 10 hours, and then you do the transplantation. And the third one is soil treatment. In this case, we use the biofertilizers along with the carrier, and this mixture is added to the soil, and then you do the sowing. So carrier, you might not be knowing what is carrier. When we make the biofertilizer, this is the solid substrate which we use for proliferation of the microorganisms. And when we select the carrier, they should be inexpensive and they should be non-toxic, also easily available in the abundance, and they should be sterilizable because ultimately we have to sterilize it. So all those qualities should be there in a carrier, and then that carrier can be used. Now, here are some names of commercial biofertilizers. For example, Nutrien, Culabio, Azopep, Azetos. So here you see, generally in 2-3 names you can see Azo. So Azo is for Azotobacter. So that way you can see that Azotobacter might be present here in these biofertilizers. Similarly, Phosphotica, P-Solve, Symbion P. So here in all these you can see P, somewhere phosphorus. So these might be the phosphorus solubilizing microorganisms. And then the last one is Mycorrhiz. This is mycorrhizal biofertilizer, in which we are using mycorrhiza, which is a symbiotic association of microorganism and the roots of the plant, higher plants. These are some leading companies: National Fertilizer Limited, IPL Biologicals, Symborg, Biomax Naturals, and many other. IFCO, you might have heard. Now the question is, are there some precautions which should be taken, or they can be just given in the field just like the chemical fertilizer? No. If we are using the biofertilizer, we have to take many precautions. And these precautions are that the packets of the biofertilizer which you get from the market, and they need to be stored away from the direct sunlight and heat. Why? Because in these packets of biofertilizer there are live microorganisms, and you want them to be effective. So for that, it is very important that they should not be kept in the sunlight and in the heat, because in excessive sunlight and excessive heat, they'll die. They are just like us. They are liable to die at one time. So that's why you have to keep these packets away from the sunlight and heat or any other, natural extreme situation. And they should be stored in cool and dry places, because if it is going to be very damp type of place, then lots of contamination will come. And right amount of biofertilizer have to be used. It's not that you can use any biofertilizer anywhere in any crop. You have to use it in right amount. The amount should be fixed. And both nitrogenous and phosphatic biofertilizers are to be used, because not only nitrogen is important for the plants, but phosphate is also very important. So both fertilizers should be used at the same time. Use of chemicals should be avoided, because these are the microorganisms, and many chemicals may not be good. They may be harmful for their growth. And rhizobium and many other such bioinoculants, they are very crop specific. Like rhizobium makes the association only with the legumes. So if you are growing the leguminous crops, then you can use rhizobium. So you should be very careful about all these things, that which biofertilizer you are using for which crop. And the packets also have the expiry date. So you have to read that expiry date, because after that, this is not going to work. This biofertilizer will not work at all. And while purchasing those packets, one should ensure that each packet is provided with necessary information. For example, what is the product, the name, the crop for which it should be used, and who is the manufacturer, what is the date of manufacture, what is the date of expiry, and all those instructions which are written there, they should be followed very carefully. And then another very important thing is that integrated nutrient management should be used. Now, this integrated nutrient management is sustainable agricultural practice. Here, along with the biofertilizer, many other things are also used. For example, green manure, compost, inorganic fertilizers, even the crop rotation is used. So this is a kind of holistic approach. So integrated nutrient management is very good. That can be used. Now, until now, we were talking about all the good things about the biofertilizer. Are there any disadvantages also? Yes, there may be some disadvantages. Like here, very special care is needed for long-term storage if you compare it with the chemical fertilizer. For chemical fertilizer, you don't need to worry at all about the storage, but here you have to be very careful. And after expiry date, they are just waste. So if you have not used these biofertilizers before they are expired, then all your money is gone waste. They are not effective if contaminated. Yeah, that is another problem, because these are the microorganisms, and many other microorganisms are present in the soil, in the environment, and air. This formulation can be contaminated, and if it is contaminated, then you may not get good results in the field. Not effective if growers use wrong strain. That is also very important, because in chemical fertilizer you're using urea. You know that the urea is good because it has nitrogen. So you use urea for any, crop. But here, suppose you are growing the legume, and instead of using rhizobium, you are using something else. Then it may not work. So that is what I'm saying here, that it is not effective if growers or the farmers use wrong strain. They should know which strain they should use. And the last one is that excessive acidity and alkalinity of the soil hampers the success of inoculants. So that is also possible, that some of the microorganisms, they grow better in acidity, and some of the microorganisms are growing better in alkalinity. And suppose your soil condition is not according to these strains or these inoculants, then you may not see the good results. So that's why, for biofertilizers, it is said that they don't give very good results in the field. They give very good results in lab condition, but same is not translated into the fields. So this may be because, farmers are not taking all the precautions. If they take all the precaution, if they use right type of biofertilizer, then they certainly get the good results. Now let's see a little about how these biofertilizers are prepared. First thing is that you have to select the strain. Of course, I told you the names of the microorganisms, but the ability to produce different hormones and other growth promoting substances, it depends on the strain. So you have to be very careful when you are selecting the strain before you prepare the biofertilizer. So mostly these microorganisms are present in the rhizosphere soil. So you take some rhizosphere soil. From there you isolate the strain, and then qualitative, quantitative estimation is done to see what activities they do have or they do not have. Then you select the right one, the best one. And then, because here we are mostly we make the solid biofertilizer, and for making the solid biofertilizers we need the carrier also. So you have to select the carrier also. Mostly peat, charcoal, lignite, or wheat and rice bran. These days biochar is also used. So all these carriers are the common ones. So you can select any of it according to your need. Then this carrier should have the neutralization and sterilization also. Neutralization means like if it is very acidic or it is extremely alkaline, then you have to neutralize it, and you also have to sterilize it before using, because carrier might have its own microorganism, and those microorganisms may compete with the biofertilizer microorganism. So that's why you have to sterilize it. And then inoculum mixing is done, that you have to mix the microorganism into the carrier. You have to keep it for some time so that the microorganism can grow. That is the fermentation period. And at last, when everything is done, and you have to do the test, you have to see what is the ratio and everything you have seen, and you have checked the quality control and everything, then you have to package. So the last step is the packaging, and then it can be sent to the market. There are certain innovations also in this biofertilizer field. Instead of using the solid biofertilizer, these days we are using liquid biofertilizer. And why? Because these liquid biofertilizers are, they have longer shelf life, up to 24 months. Mostly the solid biofertilizer, they can be kept for 3 to 6 months. So in some of the cases, they may be kept for 1 year, but not more than that. But here they have longer shelf life, and they have high cell count. They are more effective. They do not have any problem of contamination, and they have better survival rate also. They are easy to use, easy to export, because they can come in a small bottle. So you don't need the big sacks as it is done in the solid biofertilizer. So because of all these things, these days we are using the liquid biofertilizer. And another one is biofilm biofertilizer. I don't know whether you know about the biofilm biofertilizer or not. There are various microorganisms which have this tendency to attach to the surface. They attach to the surface, they grow there, and they make a film. So these type of microorganisms are taken here, and they are used for making the biofertilizer. So these are known as biofilm biofertilizer. I'm also thinking to make the videos on liquid biofertilizer and biofilm biofertilizer, so you can go through that whenever you need to know about these. So these are kind of innovations. And another important thing is that genetically modified microorganisms can also be used as the biofertilizer. You all must be knowing about the genetically modified microorganisms. Here we optimize or improve the genes through the genetic engineering or recombinant DNA technology, and these genetically modified microbes may have the nitrogen fixation improved ability, or the hormone production capabilities better. In this case, Azospirillum, Rhizobium, Alkaligens, Xanthobacter, these are the microorganisms which are genetically modified, and they can be used in making the biofertilizers. And why I'm saying that these can be used, these should be used, that is because these biofertilizers are still not available in the market commercially. Why they are not available? That is because of regulatory hurdles, and there is very limited data on their environmental impacts. So that's why currently the researchers are focused on addressing all these issues, the issues of safety and efficacy, and whether there is any bad impact on the environment or not. So mostly this is this is still in the research until now. So these are not commercially available. And here I want to show you the one of my experiments, where you can see the left hand one is the controlled one, which is without any rhizobacteria or without any biofertilizer, and the second one is with the rhizobacterial biofertilizer. So you see, the treated one is much longer, much healthier as compared to control. So I just want to show you that actually the presence of these biofertilizers make a large impact on the plant growth. So that's all for this video. I would like to request you to please subscribe my channel so that you can see many other such videos. So thank you so much.